Caitlin Clark just made a big announcement that's sending shockwaves through the WNBA. Let's be real, many of you have been watching just to see her shine this season. But now she's decided it's time to step away for good. And honestly, can you blame her?
She struggled with physical defense she's faced at the professional level and voiced frustration with the league's officiating, recently telling reporters, quote, "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me, and opponents get away with things that other people don't get away with." That's what Caitlin Clark said.
This league never really appreciated her talent. She took a struggling team to the playoffs after years of being overlooked, broke attendance records, boosted ticket sales, and turned her jersey into a top seller. And what did she receive in return? A cheap eye poke, shoulder hits, a disappointing 6-point loss, unfair technical fouls, baseless accusations of racism, and a reputation as a difficult player.
What I am upset about is like, hey man, your meal ticket is under constant attack. There's been dirty plays all season.
If that's the thanks you get for bringing excitement to the league, it's no wonder she chose to walk away. So, what led her to announce this now? What did she say that shows she's truly finished? Here's the complete story.
Those guys, they're the racists, when really, y'all are the racists. The people coming up with excuses to hate Caitlin Clark and the new fan base that she brought.
You could sense it building for a while. Caitlin Clark's frustration had been mounting, and it finally peaked after the Indiana Fever's tough playoff exit against the Connecticut Sun.
She's just not built for the physicality of this league. Yeah, and she's not quick enough to get away from the physicality.
In a nail-biting game that ended 87-81, Clark played like she had everything on the line, scoring 29 points, dishing out 10 assists, and grabbing 7 rebounds. She was doing everything she could to lead her team to victory. Unfortunately, her teammates seemed to be asleep at the wheel, missing shots and making careless mistakes while she fought like a one-woman army.
This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league, and she's a rookie.
Let's talk about Tammy Fagbenell. Her performance was tough to watch. She made critical mistakes, including a shot clock violation at a crucial moment when the Fever needed to gain some momentum. When she wasn't looking confused on the court, she was going 0 for 3, giving the ball back to the Sun like it was nothing. Honestly, don't you agree with Gino when he said?
Yeah, but she needs to be on a better team.
But let's not forget about Victoria Vivians. As a veteran, she was expected to shine under pressure, but instead, she went missing, scoring just 6 points on 2 of 10 shooting. Seriously, 2 out of 10. She wasn't just missing, she was clanking wide-open shots that even I could make. Then there's Kelsey Mitchell, who usually steps up but chose the worst moment to disappear, finishing with 9 points on 3 of 12 shooting. For a top scorer, she seemed completely off her game, hesitating, passing up open shots, and when she did shoot, they were air balls. It was like she got stage fright just when the Fever needed her the most.
Caitlin Clark was assaulted yesterday in her very first playoff game in the WNBA.
Watching Clark give it her all while everything fell apart around her was just heartbreaking. Every time she made a clutch 3 or executed an incredible play, her teammates seemed to trip over themselves, giving the ball back to the Sun and shooting her that helpless "oops, my bad" look. You could see it in her body language. Every missed shot and turnover felt like a gut punch. She didn't hold back. She played a full 40 minutes of high-energy basketball, leaving everything on the floor, and it still wasn't enough.
It's important that we point this out. One of the things that I brought up this morning in talking about Caitlin Clark is that some of the players, you want to use the word jealousy, fine. You want to use the word envy.
When the final buzzer sounded and Clark stood there with her shoulders slumped, staring at the scoreboard, it was clear this wasn't just a loss. It was a wake-up call, a realization that no matter how hard she fought or how many shots she made, it wouldn't be enough without teammates who could support her. This wasn't just the end of a playoff run. It marked the end of her patience.
If Caitlin Clark is the quote-unquote savior, if she's the golden girl, milk it!
Reality is knocking on the door of the porta potty. The truth is finally coming to the light. The same light that is going to be dimming here in about 12 hours when Caitlin Clark is eliminated from the playoffs.
The entire WNBA was left stunned when Caitlin Clark announced she's not just stepping away from the league, she's heading off too.
There were regular season games this season where Caitlin Clark drew more than 1.8 million viewers. However, I hope Kat Engelbert is ready for disappointment because there's a hell of a lot more of it on the way.
Europe. That's right. The most exciting rookie the WNBA has seen is packing her bags and saying farewell. Can you blame her? After facing endless pressure, cheap shots, and all sorts of nonsense, Clark has chosen to make a fresh start. This announcement comes just days after the Indiana Fever's tough playoff exit against the Connecticut Sun. It's not surprising, really. After doing so much to lift her team and receiving so little support, she's ready to move on.
Let's put this in its proper perspective. When I think about Caitlin Clark, the operative word that comes to my mind is gratitude.
She made her announcement during a somber press conference on September 29th, 2024, revealing that she'd be heading overseas next season. "I need a reset. I need to get away from all of this," she said, and you could tell she was mentally and emotionally done. She didn't hold back, calling out the league for poor officiating, a lack of protection from dirty plays, and the constant criticism she faced both on and off the court. It felt like she was laying it all on the table, stating, "I'm leaving because you've made this place unbearable."
The Indiana Fever, all right, with Caitlin Clark, led the league in attendance both home and on the road. Fever averaged 17,000.
But it's important to note that this isn't just a loss for Indiana. It's a financial and PR nightmare for the entire league. Clark's presence wasn't just about her rookie season. It became a full-blown phenomenon. From the moment she stepped onto the court in May, viewership and ticket sales soared. Indiana Fever games quickly became must-see events.
The most dominant team in the league, they can't draw 500,000 viewers for a playoff game. Atlanta Dreamers and the New York Liberals. Again, the Liberals. They supposedly have stars. Remember when ESPN claimed that the Liberals had the new Big Three? Dreamers, Liberals, 410,000 viewers. The other game was the Phoenix Masculines and the Minnesota Lynx.
Ticket sales skyrocketed by an astonishing 60%, and every arena she played in was packed to the brim during her rookie season. Clark alone attracted over 500,000 fans just to watch her play. One rookie brought in 500,000 people. Let that sink in. She wasn't just another player. She was the main attraction and the driving force behind the league's sudden surge in popularity.
But if you're not delivering the product and you're not making the revenue and you're not, giving people the entertainment that they want, then you're not going to make any money and your league is going to...
Clark was a cash cow for the league. Merchandise sales, which had been stagnant for years, soared as soon as her jersey hit the shelves. By August 2024, her jersey became the top seller in league history, surpassing even legends like Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi. Indiana's home court, Gainbridge Fieldhouse, transformed from a ghost town to the hottest ticket in town, with people paying $200 just for courtside seats. Clark wasn't just making history, she was generating significant revenue for the WNBA.
She's the Golden Goose.
And now, poof, it's all gone. With Clark heading to Europe, the Fever and the WNBA are facing a financial crisis. Just look at the numbers. Indiana's average attendance in 2023 was a dismal 3,000 fans per game, but after Clark joined in 2024, it skyrocketed to 15,000 fans per game, a staggering 400% increase, all thanks to her. Just her presence brought in over $5 million in ticket sales during the regular season. Without her, those numbers will vanish. This isn't just about losing a star, it's losing a golden goose.
I'm simply saying the issue is about marketing versus basketball. The merits of playing basketball compared to the merits of bringing marketing into the equation to influence potential decisions.
Clark's impact went beyond merchandise. She was a game changer for broadcasting as well. In June 2024, when the Fever faced off against the New York Liberty on ESPN, the broadcast attracted an impressive 1.5 million viewers. To put that in perspective, that's more than the average NBA game on TNT. It's clear she brought a whole new level of attention to the league.
Honestly, it's been a lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base. We had her face on a serious matter that happened in this world, and it's unacceptable, honestly. And there's no place for it. And
the WNBA had never experienced numbers like this before. Clark's games were drawing more viewers than matchups featuring superstars like Breanna Stewart and Aya Wilson or Sabrina Ionescu versus Kelsey Plum, games the league relied on to boost viewership. Clark completely changed the narrative. But after all this, do you know what she got in return? First, we had Alyssa Thomas practically shouting that Clark's popularity was all about racial biases.
It's an attack on Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's the wrong face for this league because her fans are so racist. Where have I heard this argument before? Oh, Donald Trump may be fine, but all the MAGA people, they're terrible. They're the deplorable.
According to her, the only reason people are so excited about Clark is that she's a white player excelling in a sport mostly filled with black athletes.
Excuse me?
So, scoring 35 points a game and breaking records doesn't count for anything?
She's got 14,000 followers. And it's really easy to ignore, and most people don't know who she is in the sports world. The only reason why people even know who she is because of Caitlin Clark. And she's still only got 14,000 followers on Twitter. She doesn't have much of a brand.
Apparently, talent, hard work, and pure domination on the court don't seem to matter if you have the wrong skin tone. What a complete joke.
And this woman swats at the basketball and somehow decides to turn her hand down and her fingernails and jab them right into the eye of Caitlin Clark. No foul call. No refs stopping the game to go, is this a flagrant? None of that.
But that was just the tip of the iceberg. Dejounte Carrington took things to a whole new level of dirty in Game 1 of the playoffs. She didn't just foul Clark, she straight up poked her in the eye, leaving her temporarily blinded.
Just everybody moved on.
And guess what? Not a single foul was called. Seriously, refs? Clark's out there stumbling around like she's been hit with pepper spray, while Carrington's prancing around like she didn't just turn the game into a low-budget wrestling match. Unbelievable.
Your biggest star, your meal ticket, the reason why you have relevancy, just got stabbed and assaulted and nothing.
And Carrington wasn't alone in this twisted game. Enter Candace Carter, who went after Clark's ribs with cheap, sneaky shots that should have gotten her ejected on the spot. It was dirty play, plain and simple.
That was on purpose. Is Caitlin Clark making too much of it? Is she exaggerating it, trying to get the call? You can think both things. You can think, hey, this is on purpose and it's a dirty play. But you could also think, is Caitlin Clark making too much of it?
Clark's out there gasping for air like she just sprinted up Mount Everest, while Carter's throwing elbows like it's an MMA fight. And the refs? They're probably too busy scrolling through Instagram to notice. Not a single whistle blown. Ridiculous.
What I am upset about is like, hey man, your meal ticket is under constant attack. There's been dirty plays all season.
And as if the physical hits weren't enough, the verbal cheap shots started flying too. Cheryl Swoops jumped in with her brilliant take, basically accusing the entire WNBA fan base of loving Clark just because she fits that blonde, blue-eyed All-American image. In the end, it wasn't the physical toll or the playoff losses that broke her. It was the constant barrage of these baseless criticisms.
Because it's Caitlin Clark and she can't do that game.
It was the sheer pettiness, the relentless targeting, every foul against her brushed off like nothing while she got hammered for the smallest things. But she hasn't packed her bags just yet. It's more like the idea of moving to Europe has just crossed her mind, and honestly, she should go for it. It's probably the smartest move she could make right now.